Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start the next session of our bio class, and today also we are going to study one topic which is left in the chapter evolution. So that topic is the origin of life. We have studied the origin of universe, origin of solar system, origin of earth, and now we will be studying the origin of life. Now, as Oparin and Haldane theory suggests that spontaneous generation of the life under present environmental condition is not possible. So, under present environmental condition, life is not possible. Origin of life by spontaneous generation of life is not possible. Then another point what the Oparin said, that primitive atmosphere was different from what we have today. Another opinion what he gave, primitive atmosphere was of reducing type. Then the fourth point what he suggested, the first life arose from the collection of the chemicals. The first life arose from the chemicals through a progressive series of chemical reactions in which atoms combine to form elements. Elements combine to form compounds combine to form, we can also say that they are the monomers. Then these compounds, they combine to form complex organic molecules. We can say the polymers. Then these complex organic molecules, they aggregated, means they collected together, and the aggregates, they gave rise to organized living matter. So this was the theory proposed by Oparin for the origin of life. Means there were the atoms of hydrogen, nitrogen, helium, iron, etc. And these atoms, when they got the energy from the sun's radiation, from the nuclear radiations, from the volcanic eruptions, etc., then they got the energy, they combined to form the elements. Then furthermore energy, these compounds combine to form the monomers of the simple compounds. Then these monomers, they got organized into complex organic compounds, and then they aggregated together to form a cell-like structure, and then they gave rise to the organized living matter. So this was proposed by Oparin. So on the basis of the theory of Oparin, chemical evolution took place, and that is the origin of life that we are going to study now. So steps in origin of life. And this was proposed by A.I. Oparin and J.B.S. Haldane. So what they propose? A long evolution of chemical substances preceded the actual origin of life. So it was called as chemical evolution. And the first step is formation of inorganic molecules. Now, in the formation of inorganic molecules, because there was lot of a very high temperature, so the bonding was not possible between the atoms and the elements. So there was high temperature. So atoms could not combine to form molecules. Next point. Now, when the temperature was very high, there were only atoms, and because of the temperature, bonding was not possible. But as the atmosphere or the earth went on cooling and cooling, what happened? On cooling, free atoms combined to form molecules like hydrogen, nitrogen, NH3, CO2, water vapor, that is H2O, etc. And the energy was obtained, energy to form compounds was obtained by sun, volcanic eruptions, lightning, etc. So now I am writing stepwise in short. You can note it down. It will be easy for you to learn with these steps. So in the first step, free atoms, that is hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, they are forming in the second step, inorganic molecules of gases like hydrogen molecule, nitrogen molecule, carbon dioxide, water vapor, CH4, NH3, etc. Now these atoms were brought down by rain water. These atoms were brought down by rain water, dissolved rocks, on cooling, atoms at random came together. Means there was no definite pattern of the combining of these atoms. When the environment became little cooler, they started combining randomly and they formed the molecules of inorganic molecules of gases. Then further, the third step, simple or I will be writing the third step from the top. Third step is simple organic molecules are formed so these organic molecules were CH4, H2O. They gave rise to sugars, fatty acids, glycerols. Then CH4, H2O and NH3, they combined to form amino acids. So with the combination of these molecules, these simple inorganic compounds, amino acid, that is the organic compounds, were formed. Then CH4, H2O, NH3, HCN, they gave rise to nitrogenous bases, that is purines and pyrimidines. So these simple organic molecules are formed from these inorganic molecules. Then these organic molecules, due to the accumulation organic molecules seawater became hot dilute soup wherein molecules colloided reacted aggregated to form new molecules of increasing size and complexity. So what it is called? Polymerization. What is happening in the third stage? What is happening? Simple inorganic molecules, they are combining to form simple organic molecules like sugar, fatty acid, glycerol, amino acid, nitrogenous bases, etc. Then because of the mixing of these organic compounds into the hot seawater, it was resembling like a nutritious soup for the synthesis of life. And these molecules, they aggregated, reacted with one another and collided with one another, and so it happened, and this process is called as polymerization, and they formed more and more bigger and bigger molecules which became more and more complex and increased in size. So after this, the fourth step what happened? Complex organic molecules are formed. How? Sugar and sugar made polysaccharides. Fatty acids and glycerol, it made fats. Amino acids and amino acids, they polymerized to form proteins. Then nitrogenous bases plus sugar and phosphates they gave rise to nucleotides ADP, etc. Then nucleotides combined to give rise to nucleic acids. Now in the fourth step, what we can see, complex organic molecules are formed from the simple organic molecules, that is the monomers. So what is happening? Sugar molecule combined with sugar molecule and form polysaccharides, that is the complex organic molecule. Fatty acids combined with glycerol to form fats. Amino acids combined with amino acids to form proteins. Nitrogenous bases combined with sugar and phosphates to form nucleotides, ADP, etc. Then nucleotides combined with other nucleotides to give rise to nucleic acids. So now these complex organic compounds formed in the hot oceanic water. Then what happens? These molecules attracted to charged surfaces of clay in the ocean water, or because rocks were also there, they were adhering to the rocks surfaces, etc. So they were adhering there, they got attracted to charged surfaces, that is the soil particles or clay particles or to the rocky surfaces, etc. And other minerals in underwater rocks, they got combined with it, and these catalyzed the chemical reactions and their selections for biologically suitable molecules. Means because they got attracted to the charged surfaces of clay, sand, then rock surfaces, inorganic molecules found in those rock surfaces, etc. So all these catalyzed the reactions and it made possible for the biological formation of biologically suitable molecules. So all these complex molecules at randomly came together due to intermolecular attractions, and they formed the first living cell-like complex molecule aggregate, which we called as coicervate. Now till now what we have seen, the inorganic atoms of the substances, matter, they combined to form simple inorganic compound molecules. Then these inorganic molecules combined to form simple organic molecules. Then these organic molecules, they combined after polymerization, they gave rise to the complex organic molecules like like the fats, proteins, carbohydrates, nucleic acids, etc. Then these compounds, they collided into the hot ocean water, and the surfaces of the rocky surfaces, the clay, the mud, etc., the sand, etc., it catalyzed in the collection of these complex molecules, and it gave rise to the coicervates. Then aggregates, so coicervates are what? Aggregates of large, complex, colloidal organic molecules which are capable of growth, means after getting aggregated, collided with one another when they were growing in size, and due to the zwitterionic nature of protein molecules, the water molecules are making a layer around these aggregates of complex organic substances. So when these colloidal organic molecules, they were collected together and they were growing and growing in size, then when they were becoming great size, they were dividing and they were surrounded by envelope of water molecules. So this envelope of water molecule around this aggregate of the complex organic molecules is serving as a selectively permeable membrane, and it was selectively absorbing substances from the hot ocean soup into this aggregate, and the size of the concentrate was becoming more bigger and bigger, and then when it was attaining a great size, it was dividing into small pieces. So this I have shown here. This is the film of water, and this is the cluster of macromolecules. Which macromolecules? The glucose, the nucleic acids, etc. And when this became bigger and bigger, it broke into smaller ones, and so this is how the coalescerates, which were behaving like the living cell, they came into existence. So after the formation of coalescerates, when more and more complex organic substances were coming selectively through the protective layer of water molecules, then at random suddenly nucleic acids, they are formed inside the coalescerates. So nucleic acids formed in coalescerates and gave rise to eobions by mechanism of genetic duplication. Means that inside the coalescerates, when nucleic acids form, they were behaving like DNA or RNA, and they gave rise to eobions by the duplication of that genetic material. So eobions are also called as protocells or protobions. That is the non-cellular forms of life. So when in the coalescerates, due to the incoming of complex substances, more and more complex substances were coming through selectively through the layer of water. Stage came when the nucleic acids are formed, and by the duplication of these nucleic acids, eobions are formed, and they were behaving like the cell of life, but it was not actually the cell. So it was the non-cellular form of life, which was eobions or protobions or protocells. And from them at the seventh stage, the first primitive cell was formed, and this is how the origin of life was completed. Now, whatever about origin of life we have seen just now, I am giving you the summary in points. So I would like all of you to go on writing as I am writing on the board, because I am not going to give this summary in the download section. So what happened in the first step? Free atoms. In the atmosphere. Came together as Earth cooled and formed inorganic molecules hydrogen, nitrogen, water, carbon dioxide, methane and ammonia. Then in the second step, these inorganic molecules interacted and produced organic monomers like sugar, fatty acids, glycerol, amino acids, and nitrogenous bases. In the third step, these simple organic monomers interacted and combined to form large, complex, organic polymers. They are polysaccharides. Proteins, lipids, nucleotides, nucleic acids. In the fourth step, large organic polymers aggregated into conservates or microspheres. Which could absorb and release materials grow and divide in an irregular manner. In conservates, nucleic acids took control of the activities occurring in the conservates thus they became first primitive living systems called eobionts. Now, after this, the lipid protein membrane replaced the water membrane. The membrane which were making the protective covering around the coagulate, this was replaced by lipid protein membrane. So, lipid protein membrane evolved to separate the eobionts from surrounding environment. Now, when the lipid protein membrane separated eobionts from surrounding environment, then the process of growth and division became regular and precise. And this gave to first living cell called as progenotes. Then after that, first living cell were anaerobic and heterotrophic. Now, why they were anaerobic? Because there were no oxygen in the environment, only CO2 was there. So they were respiring anaerobically to get the energy, and they were not autotrophic, and they were getting the food from the organic soup which is present in the hot ocean water. After that, these primitive heterotrophs evolved into by acquiring ability to form organic food for themselves. This gave rise to the phototrophs. This gave rise to the phototrophs are created and they created the existing atmosphere by releasing oxygen. Means when the first cells were anaerobic and heterotrophic, and from these anaerobic heterotrophic cells, some evolved into the first autotrophic cells, and by acquiring ability to form organic food for themselves. Means some of the cells which were heterotrophic, they started producing their own food into their own cell body and they became the primitive autotrophs. So now these autotrophs, that is the phototrophs, when they were doing the process of photosynthesis, they started releasing oxygen in the environment, and thus the existing environment, which is now full of oxygen, replaced the reducing environment which was full of carbon dioxide. So that oxidizing environment was replaced by that reducing environment was replaced by today's oxidizing environment by the formation of phototrophs, which were synthesizing their own food, and in this process they were releasing the oxygen. Then one more point. That is further evolution produced the various existing organisms, which we have studied how they evolved. Means how from the primitive heterotrophic organisms the today's phototrophic organisms came into existence, and how from these phototrophs other various type of organisms evolved. This all mechanism we have already seen, that because of the new need, because of the falling into new environmental conditions, the body organization is changing and it gives rise to the totally new species. So this is how we have concluded our chapter evolution. Okay, thank you.